Hey guys, and welcome back to Pro Speed Baseball. Today we have Aroldis Chapman, and I'm going to show you how he gains that massive arm speed by leveraging the ground for power, and one simple thing that he does in his pitching mechanics that you can implement in your game today. Now, to understand how to throw hard, we have to understand the sequence in which our body needs to work at the most efficient level to gain the most speed, and this is how we do it. Now, Chapman creates a ton of forward momentum in his pitching mechanics, which is great for speed. This is crucial. We gotta get a lot of momentum going towards the plate because we are starting from a dead standstill as a pitcher. But we can see here he gets a really high knee, which gives him a ton of room to gain speed in his stride, in his actual foot going towards the plate momentum. He gets a ton of speed that way. He gets a big long stride. But what we want to pay attention to here is this is how he leverages the ground for power. He now gets this big long stride, and when he plants, he is now completely off of all the weight is off of this backside, and all of his momentum going forward is now in his lead heel. And what he's done now is he's put a bunch of pressure in this heel. He's stopped his forward momentum with it, and it is now shooting what we call the kinematic sequence up through in his leg into his hips, up into his shoulders, and then all the way out into his arm, and this leads all the way out into the release of the ball. Now we just have to understand the sequence in which we want this to happen. And it's very simple. We want this, everything's going to be closed. So our foot is closed, our hips are square, our shoulders are closed. Everything is now pointing towards the catcher. We have our hips, foot, and shoulder all pointing down towards the catcher, and we want them all to open up systematically, starting from the ground up. So this front foot now opens. We can see he has now opened this front foot. And then the next thing to open is our hips. Our hips now move around. And then the shoulders lag behind the hips. We can see the shoulders are now significantly more closed, and now they're lagging behind the hips. And then when we want the arm to lag behind the shoulders, and we can see that his arm is now lagged behind the shoulders, and now all of this energy that has been moving this way has now stopped here, moved up through the body, and is now going to be released through the fingertips all the way to the follow-through. And if we do this correctly, we get into a nice flat-backed finish position. We see Aroldis here. Now let's switch over to another view here, and I want to show you the one really big power move that Chapman does that allows him to gain full potential out of this kinematic sequence. And this power move is simply a big shoulder blade pinch. And this happens, the shoulder blade pinch happens while we're striding. And how we can tell he gets such a big shoulder blade pinch is we can see how close his elbows get to each other behind the back. So this is a good way of thinking about this if you're going to work on this at home, is when we're striding, we want to try to get our elbows as close to each other as we can behind our back. Now what this does is it creates room for our arm to gain speed, for us to get arm speed, which directly relates to velocity. Now if we can, let's take Chapman back up to his stride, and we can see that his arms are way behind his head. You can see that if we draw a line from his head to his elbow, he's got a lot of space. He's now got these arms way behind his body. Now if his arm, say here's his shoulder right here, if his arm was back, going straight back maybe towards second base, we would now miss out on all this room we have here. He has all this room back here that he's built up by pinching those shoulder blades together to gain speed. So if he were to throw from here, he would have much less time to gain speed. And a really good analogy for this, a real world analogy for this, is a car. So say we have a car, let's draw this in a little bit better spot. Say we have a car right here, and we have a quarter-mile track, and this is the stop over here, and we speed up. Someone says, okay, go as fast as you can go. Well, you're only going to be able to go so fast on a quarter-mile track. But now say somebody gives you that same car and gives you a 5-mile road to go as fast as you want. Well, obviously you're going to be able to gain a lot more speed, and that's just the premise of what we're talking about here. If we can get a big shoulder blade pinch, we have now given ourselves that 5-mile road to throw and gain arm speed and gain velocity in our pitch. And the big key here for the kinematic sequences, I want you to see when his stride foot lands, we can see here his foot is firmly planted, and I want you to see he still has his elbows well behind his back, and they are well behind him. And now the reason why we talked about we want our foot, then our hips, then our shoulders, and then our arm to go. If our arm's over here, we're going to have a really out of whack kinematic sequence, making when the sequence is off, velocity is going to be off. So when our stride foot lands, we want to strive to get into this position, elbows as far back behind our head as we can, and this is going to help you gain maximum velocity in your pitching mechanics. And start playing catch with this, guys. Start off short, start getting used to getting those elbows behind your back when your foot lands, and work it into long toss, work it into your pitching mechanics. Do this stuff, guys. Work on this stuff, and believe me, you're going to be very, very impressed with your improvement and how much arm speed you can gain, and that's going to directly lead into more velocity for you. Now, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please click on the link that's popping up in your screen right now and subscribe. I wanted the link in the description below. Like this video, plus one us on Google, and leave your questions and comments below. We love hearing from you guys. And if you subscribe, you're going to be one of the first ones to know about new videos, new instruction coming out, and you're not going to want to miss out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I look forward to working with you in the future.